Hello everybody, welcome to Flight Simulator X. We're going to be doing an air hauler flight today. This is the 8-way simulations, Cessna 172. If I can get a good angle on it here, there we go. We'll be flying this today. And can I get rid of that options menu at all? I'll kind of be needing that later, so I'll leave that up. So we got to do pre-flight checks before we get anywhere. So let's get our checklist up using Shift 2. Let me have a look. Upon entering cabin, airplane weight and balance is checked. I think that's Shift. Nope. Shift 9. Shift 5. 4. That's not the correct amount of fuel. I need to shift over into air hauler itself, which you guys can't see. That's not loading the correct amount of fuel, so I'm going to have to add it manually. Because this thing should be chock full of fuel. And I'm just going to click on that. There we go. So this is now chock full of fuel. We got pilot, which is 170 pounds apparently. Lovely. Baggage, we have 100 pounds of baggage, which is narcotics, because we're apparently some sort of drug dealer, apparently. Let's see, parking brake set. Control wheel lock remove. Ignition and avionics. I'm just going to get rid of the yoke here real quick. Ignition avionics off. Yes, master switch on. Check fuel quantity. Fuel quantity is full. Static pressure all source valve off. That is off. Annunciator panel test. Panel switch test. So let's test this. Come on, be nice to me. Yep, tested. Fuel selector valve is set both, which we need to set here. There we go. We are in takeoff trim, which is nice. Fuel shutoff valve off, so push that in. Flaps extend. Master switch off once the flaps are extended. And we'll actually have to get out of the plane now to do some more tests, which is Shift 8. Left wing pitot tube cover, we got to remove that and test the pitot tube, which we haven't actually warmed up yet. So yes, ignition switch. Okay, we got to set all this again. Ignition switch off, master switch off, battery master switch on. Pitot heat on. That is not pitot heat, that's the fuel pump. Pitot heat on. Fuel quantity check is checked. Avionics master switch on. Static pressure source valve off. Check and release, and we've done that already. Fuel shutoff valve on. Flaps are extended. Pitot heat now goes off. And avionics master switch off, and master switch goes off too. That was the battery. The elevator trim is set for takeoff. So now back out here, we can check the pitot tube, which will be hot. Baggage door is checked and locked, and I'm just going to reset my head tracking here. There we go. Tail, we gotta untie it because there was a tie there. Check all those. That looks good to me. And that could maybe do with some work, but it's good. Elevators are working correctly. Right wing. Flap is good. Flap connections are good. The aileron connectors are also good, and now we can untie the wing. Take away the chocks, and the wheels look good, although they're glitching into the ground slightly. Fuel looks good. Fuel level looks good. Oil level is okay. Every 25 hours or 4 months, whichever comes first, it'll be 25 hours. Yeah, the oil is definitely good, because it is almost entirely yellow. Inspect the fuel again. That looks good there. Propeller is looking alright to me. Just clear any obstructions there. Clear any obstructions from the static source opening. Fuel in the left tank looks good. Yep. And the left tire is good as well. Left wing, untie that and just clean out the stall warning opening, which is there, and the fuel tank vent opening, which is over there. And everything looks good in terms of condition. Yep, everything looks good there. Left flap is good, and connections are good. Back into the cabin, and we can resume our checklists, because it's a plane. There are 1,000,001 checklists. Engine starting checklist. Throttle is cracked. Mixture set to idle, which is about here. Master switch on. Just switch both on. Beacon is on. Now this is a cold engine, so auxiliary fuel pump switch on. Full reached for 3 to 5 seconds until we're seeing a stable flow. Stable flow established. Pull it back out. Auxiliary fuel pump off. And here's where things get fun, because I'm going to have to... Okay. Propeller area is clear. We can now hit start on the engine. Just advance the throttle. Come on. Don't have enough fuel going. So we can just increase the mixture a bit. And hit start again. Come on, take. Might have to start this full... Nope. Engine's now started. Mixture advance. Oil pressure is good. Nav lights on as required. We'll be taking off soon, so let's get our landing, taxi, nav and strobe lights on as well. And pitot heat, just to be on the safe side. Avionics on. And now I can show you where we're flying. At long last. So, if I zoom out here, that's zooming in, Dave. You can see that we are flying from Waterford here up to near Stranraer in Scotland. Echo India, India or Indigo? India, Whiskey Foxtrot, 2 Echo Golf, Oscar Yankee. And I'm going to actually have to do a check or two here. Echo Golf, Oscar Yankee, and it has no ILS. Is there anything we can use here that is going to be of use? No, good, we've got no... No nav aids going into Golf Oscar Yankee. Lovely. Flaps can now be retracted. And seeing as that is the before takeoff checklist, we now need to go into ATS. Or ATC. Waterford ground. We are wanting to depart north, I believe. Yeah, we're wanting to depart north. taxi 2 and hold short of runway 21 via taxiway and runway 3. So we'll hold short of the runway before we even enter runway 3 because runway 21 and runway 03 are the same runway. Contact tower 129.85 when ready. Acknowledge taxi clearance. Taxiing 2 and holding short runway 21 using taxiway. Runway 3, Cessna, India, Oscar 1. Progressive taxi is now on. We can release the parking brake. And we should, if we just give it another couple of revs, start moving. Can lean off the throttle a bit. We're going to be about 800 revs. There we go. So we're going to be wanting to go over there. We've only got 100 pounds of narcotics on board with us today, so we don't need to be going too heavy on flaps on takeoff. We don't even need the flaps for takeoff, I've just realised. So back down to about 800 RPM. There we go. We'll be tuning into tower over by the runway. And our cruise altitude today is going to be about somewhere between 5 and 8,000 feet. I'm having issues with the autopilot on this thing, so come on. You don't have your parking brake on. Get moving. This is the A2A Simulations Cessna 172, if I haven't already said. I am using the Rex Direct 4 texture add-ons, which is why the airport looks so prettiful. And is there anything else that should impact on today? I am using real world weather. So this is very roughly the actual weather in Waterford right now. Which, being close to Waterford, I can tell you is pretty close to being realistic. I also have Bloom turned on because it looks pretty and I like it. So we're getting up to the whole short point here. So we'll tune into tower now on 129.85. Just run up to the hold short line and hold. Waterford Tower, Cessna Echo India Oscar 1, ready at 2A, runway 21, north departure. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 21, Cessna India Oscar 1. Right, so now we open up our before takeoff checklist. Seats, belts and doors, we don't need to worry about them. Flight controls are free and correct. Flight instruments, check and set. Checked and set. There's nothing we can really do right now. Fuel selector valve rechecked both. Checked. Mixture is going to be reached once we're down here and ready to go. Yeah, we should be good to go. And then the next mixture rich, lean at over 3,000 foot. Once we're up past 3,000 foot, we're going to lean out a bit in terms of fuel. I'm going to slowly advance the throttle to full open and lift the nose wheel at 55 knots, roughly speaking. Climb speed is going to be 70 to 80 knots. And we don't have any flaps out. Our climb will be 70 to 85 knots with full open and rich fuel mixture. So now we get ready for takeoff by going full rich on fuel. Here we go. Runway 21 taking off. 40 knots. 50. Nope, that was not 55 knots. I've taken off too early and I'm stalling. We're good. That was not ideal. There is a crosswind, as it turns out, so this is not going to be the most fun takeoff. We're going up too quickly. Just gonna trim nose wheel down a bit, nose down a bit. Come on, nose down, nose down. This crosswind is killing me, good lord. This air holder just telling me we need to fly this sector, which is the route we are taking. Whoa! Yeah, these crosswinds are pretty dangerous. Let's just trim a bit more nose down into it. We are almost at 1,000 feet already. We're at 800 feet. And increasing. 900 feet. We're making our turn onto the course, which should we do set GPS? There we go. You can see in the GPS module there, our GNS 400, we are now, we're actually slightly to the right of where we want to be according to our flight plan. Nose down please, Cessna, good lord. Gonna get this up to about 5,000-6,000 feet and then start our cruise to Scotland. We're going to be flying over most of Ireland, flying over Northern Ireland. If I go to this view here and range up, you can see we'll be flying over Dublin, just skirting Belfast there. And wow, these crosswinds are bad. And making our way into Scotland at Stranraer. We are now leaving ATC airspace, which means we can change frequency. We'll tune into Shannon Centre, request class Charlie airspace transition. We're type Cessna Skyhawk. We are 2 miles east of Waterford at 2,100 climbing. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. Squawk 5002 5002 on the transponder. Now 2,300. We're banking wildly. These winds, wow. Maybe they're not too realistic, but what is our okay, we've got no indication of what the air pressure currently is. We can close that, we can shrink the sat nav. Whoa, turning to the left again. Just lower the range here. We're actually we're running 180 degrees from where we started off. This thing just does not want to fly straight, good lord. I'm not using the rudders, this is all ailerons. Oops, forgot to acknowledge Charlie airspace transition. Cleared through Charlie airspace, Cessna, India Oscar 1. I set altimeter there to 29908, there we go. Come on. If you're wondering why I say 9er, it's because aircraft radios can sometimes be a bit wonky. Saying 9 could be misinterpreted as a 5 occasionally. So, okay, that was a bad idea to use rudder there. So by saying 9er, it's a... what is our desired track here? 029. Let's get this just tuned into 029. This thing doesn't... I should have checked my instruments, because this is... yeah, we're not going to be going on 029 at all. And these crosswinds are getting worse and worse. We are up through 3,000 now, so we'll just lean this out a bit. We're 2,500 RPM, that should be good. It should actually calm the plane down a bit. We are drifting slightly to the right, which is fine. Just level it. We'll drift slightly to the left and level it off. Come on, level out. Roll out, little Cessna. This flight is estimated to take 2 hours and 8 minutes. Which, yeah, not going to be the shortest flight in the world. We are flying internationally in a Cessna. But if I can get this thing up to don't want to go 8,000. Ground speed is 87 knots. Is it worth going to 8,000? We'll be breaking through clouds if we go to 8,000. Let's trim her out for 5. There's a jet up there. You can see the contrails is flying, I want to say east to west, or west to east. Left to right as you're looking at it. Come on, trim out, dang it. You're drifting upwards still. Are you still trimmed? You're still trimmed nose up too much. Have I over trimmed now, or is that going to bring me down to reasonable? I have over trimmed. Because if I can get this thing flying straight and level, we can switch on the autopilot. I want to go nose down a bit more. I've got my hands off the controls right now. That's too much nose down. Let's trim nose up again. Way too much nose down. So this is now going to be managing trim until it levels out. I get the feeling we're actually in a microburst at the moment because we're being pushed down almost. Come on. Gonna be back almost to takeoff trim by the time I get this thing trimmed out to be mostly level. I'm gonna be flying at the weirdest angle here. Okay, I think we got it trimmed for level. We are a bit nose up, so let's just trim a small bit more nose down into it. And that is... Nope, we're still 2 nose up. We're just increasing there. Minus 28, 36, 43, 49. Okay, come on. Okay, that'll have to do. Let's get our autopilot turned on. Autopilot is on, set to nav, which is this button here. And it's going to turn us around and get us onto a good heading. Let's arm for 5,000. Arm. Arm for 5,000, set vertical speed. I want a positive vertical speed. Come on. The autopilot is causing us to dive. Why is the autopilot causing us to dive? Does the autopilot want to kill us? Can I set autopilot to 6,000? And nope, it's just going to want to try and kill us, so we're going to have to trim more nose up into it, I think. And we should be able to just trim the autopilot back on now. Nav. Altitude, hold at 6,000 please. Arm for 6,000. And gauge. We want about 500 feet per minute. If we can. You're gonna just dive again, autopilot. You in the sort of mood where you just want to kill us? Let's put a bit more throttle in. Because I think it might have just been low throttle settings there was causing the dive. And we're now climbing at an insane rate. Lovely. I have to trim more nose down in. Bit more. If we can get it to hold about there. Now how's it gonna behave here? We're gonna just keep losing height on our vertical speed. We can keep it to 100 or so. Yeah, that's perfect. Autopilot hold, nav hold. Arm 6,000. Perfect. We're now going at a ground speed of 100 knots. And we can speed up the simulation for our cruise. Which the autopilot's now deciding it wants to go super stupid fast up. And ooh, it's leveling off. I haven't seen it do this in a while. It usually just keeps deciding to climb. I've hit 18,000 feet before in this thing. Despite the real life ceiling of a Cessna 172 being about 13,500. I'm just gonna try and tune this throttle into being reasonable. That should do. Minus 86 feet per minute. I wonder, is it gonna... Nope. I can tune it with mixture as well. So I can tune this to be somewhat level at a decent speed. I don't want to screw about with the trim anymore. That's somewhat level. That I will accept. Nope, you're descending again. That is almost entirely level. Airspeed is 100 knots. Ground speed is 114 knots. Estimated time of encounter is increasing for some reason. Because we're in a climb. Remember, this is all happening at 4 times the actual speed that it's happening, so... I try and preempt what the plane is deciding to do. Let's put a bit more fuel into the mix here. See if that'll level us off. We're not level. A small bit more throttle should level us off. Ground speed is currently 131 knots. You're going to want to level off there now at 6,000 feet. Oh, almost exactly 6,000 feet. 138 nautical miles from our destination. Nope, we're going to start climbing. Wonderful. just going to leave the autopilot do its thing. It gets into moods sometimes. As long as it doesn't kill us, I'm fine with it. Is there any way of seeing what's like nearby? Donald. Can I tune into a radio signal here and use that as a nav beacon? Let's try it with I guess tower, because this thing will recognize the tower frequency. 1 o'clock, 4 miles, Beach Barn. Yep, got it in sight. There's the Beechcraft Barn, going right over the top of us. As we are now 129 nautical miles from Stranraer. And I will tell you guys, this is decidedly faster than trying to drive from Ireland to Stranraer, because you got to take a ferry, and the ferry itself takes like an hour. We need to contact Dublin Tower on 118.6, 11955 even. Dublin approach 2909 or 7. Let's just get that set. Okay, 122.0. Hold on approach with you. 2909 or 7 again. Wonderful. We're going to get a few handoffs through here, because we're going to be flying through a lot of Dublin airspace. So this is the Baldonnel approach area. We're going to be going back into Dublin approach in a moment. We're in a cloud, so we can't see a thing. Which technically means I'm no longer under VFR rules, and well, in breach of VFR rules. We should be told to swap board Dublin approach again momentarily. These are really low-lying clouds at only... oh, 9,000 feet, never mind. So I should be getting another handover in a moment, unless Baldonnel approach actually controls this entire quadrant here, in which case we'll get to Dublin approach again just as we're flying. It looks like we're going to fly almost directly over the top of Dublin Airport. And the GPS appears to have broken. Oh, it has. Can I fix this by toggling terrain at all? Yes. You're going to be flying almost directly over the top of Dublin Airport. There's Dublin Airport there. We're going to be unnervingly close to that. I think we're actually going to be on the glide slope for Dublin Airport. That's not good. Also, you might notice that my mouse sometimes just disappears off the side of the screen as you're seeing it. Reason for that is I don't actually have the full screen in the video. I've got a small bit on the right cut out and a small bit on the left cut out. So you're not seeing everything I can see, but you're seeing the vast majority of it. And my frame rate is slightly tanking, probably because of time acceleration and head tracking it. There's, yeah, that's Dublin below me there. There, I believe, is the River Liffey. No, that can't be right. I don't know what these perfectly straight lines in Dublin are, but no, that has to be the river, because there's Dublin Airport. Yeah, that... oh, it's disappeared behind the cloud. It is interesting how you can... oh, we're being handed off to Shan Centre, 132.15. Come on. Chance Center. Echo India, Oscar 1 with you. Altimeter 29 or 9 or 7. Where's Dublin Airport going? Well, no, there's Dublin Airport. There is, if I had to hazard a guess, well, there's the Liffey. That can't be Dublin Airport. That is Dublin Airport. There's the Liffey. There's Phoenix Park. That's Dublin Airport. That's Baldonnel Aerodrome back there. There's Dublin Airport. Yeah, back there is Baldonnel, which is a lot bigger than it is in real life. Dublin Airport is just kind of off the left wing right now. Unfortunately, it's behind a cloud. We're now at 9,000... oh no, 10,800 feet. There's Dublin Airport just off the left wing. You can see that it is rather busy today, and an Airbus has just taken off. There it goes. You go, little Airbus. I say little Airbus, I meant Cessna. That's where I used to fly out of all the time. Which means that there is the M50, that there is the M1, I think. Let's get our sun visor down so I don't get blinded by the complete lack of sunlight today. We're now above the clouds at 11,000 feet and still climbing slowly, but it's fine. We're about an hour away from Stranraer now, 92 nautical miles, flying at 92 knots airspeed. And it looks like we're actually flying into slight headwind. Or 92 knots ground speed, I should have said. Because there's 100 knots. Yeah, we're almost definitely flying into a slight headwind. I obviously can't see the weather on this, but that would be my guess. Now, what was I looking up on here? I was looking something up. Oh, I was looking up the tower. 122.85. Let's go to the frequency. Come on. Yeah, if I zoom in a bit. Manually zooming is the best thing ever. Because I think I can use this as a... Okay, what was it? 12285, wasn't it? I don't think I can use this the way that I think I can. Nope, can't actually tune it. Is there anything on here I can tune? For 12285, oh, it's 55 even. 13073, 13005, no. Is there a near... Ah. That's a question. Is there a nearby VOR or anything of the nature? No. Not convenient. So we are now out over the Irish Sea. Turn off the GPS, which meant I had no nav there for a moment. Let's go to this view. You can see that we're going to be flying right past the coast of Northern Ireland there. And we should start seeing Scotland, well, if there wasn't clouds, we should start seeing Scotland in a few moments. The Isle of Man is going to be off our right wing just over here in a few minutes. And I have flown there before, it's quite an interesting airport to fly into. Let's get the cockpit lighting on. So it's not nice bright sunny day up here at 11,000 feet, probably up closer to 12,000 right now. Yeah, we're closer to 12,000, we're at 11,600 exactly. Which granted is a bit high for the Cessna, but it doesn't seem to want to complain too much. This plane, by the way, is certified for day, night, VFR and IFR flights. I'm not supposed to try any acrobatics. I have spun this thing a couple of times. Handbook. Cruise. 2,400. We are within that range. Descent power as desired. Mixture adjust for smooth operation. I'm going to just blast mixture up to full. Rich. Fuel selector valve both. Wing flaps as desired. We'll be landing flaps down. So we'll be landing with flaps, I believe it's 45. Nope, flaps 30. So below 85 knots. Our landing speed will be between 60 and 70 knots. Well, how long is the main runway here? 6,000 feet for 062024. 1230 is 2,000. Yeah, we don't really need to land flaps down. We can land flaps up with minimum required braking and a gentle landing roll. There is, I believe, the coast of Northern Ireland just ahead of us. Let's turn the cursor off. Yep, that is. No, that's, I believe, Scotland. No, that's Northern Ireland. The Isle of Man is... Can I see it through the clouds? No. It's going to be just off over there. Just up, probably about there-ish. Right now. We're flying quite close to Belfast. Whoops. Forgot to actually listen to ATC. Let's... Now I can hear ATC. I forgot to put my headphones in. Yes, I got you. 11,700 feet currently. We're at flight level 117. Yes. Are we flying level now? Hey, we've leveled off 11.7. We're actually starting a slight descent. Altimeter 29 or 9 or 7, which was set to already. Will you take 100 double L fuel? Cruise mixture 0 to 50 degrees LOP 69 GBH. 90 to 110. We're actually cruising a bit slowly, so we're to increase the mixture. Because we're not cruising at quite the airspeed we should be. So we should be cruising at 90 to 110 knots indicated airspeed. Cabin is freezing. Oh. Let's turn our cabin heat on. Which one of these is cabin heat and which one is... That's ventilation. No, I don't want to. Cabin is cold but warming rapidly. Outside temperature is minus 8 degrees Celsius, which means our pitot does need to be heated, otherwise it will freeze over. Fuel economy is currently 9.9 gallons per hour. So you can see we've used very little fuel. Altimeter is now 2996. Our range is 473 nautical miles and actually kind of holding steady. I wonder if I... Why is... Do I need to have the ventilation on too? Just hold the ventilation up. Cooling rapidly, no. Ventilation does decidedly not need to be on. Let's just re-crack that up. Sounds cool, warming. Ground speed is 112 miles an hour, 113 miles an hour, and 98 knots. Outside temperature is -8 degrees Celsius. That is on a day where it's probably 12, 13, maybe 14 degrees Celsius in real life. Or for those of you using freedom units, it is 17 freedoms. Our range is suddenly increasing. So we were flying into a headwind. We're now flying into a headwind again. Endurance is about 5 hours left. Oh, something's gone funky. What's our RPMs like? Yeah, it's good. Cabin is cool and steady. That will have to do. I can't get any more heat into this. Outside temperature is now -8 degrees. What happens if I just really quickly blip the... Yeah, I can't warm up the cabin at all. Fuel economy is now 10 gallons an hour, so we're flying into a slight headwind. Never mind, we've got a tailwind. It's kind of crosswindy today. How far away are we from Echo Golf Oscar Yankee? 28 nautical miles. We should now be able to... West Freugh. Fly left downwind. Runway 24. Fly left downwind. Runway 24. Cessna India Oscar 1. Now I'm completely unfamiliar with the area. You can I've cut off a bit of the ATC. I'm watching OBS. Don't worry. Do I want to start my descent now from 12,000, 26 nautical miles to go? There's actually another Cessna just after landing, possibly Grand Caravan. We're flying steady. Gonna go to about 10 miles and then I'll start descending. Unless I can set this thing to have a vertical speed. Can we go down to 400 feet per minute, please? Nope. Okay. So just holding steady. There is quite a bad bit of wind going on at the moment. You can see the plane bouncing about quite a lot. Let's see, 12 minutes away. Wow, yeah, we're gonna have to start descending. Let's turn the autopilot off. We're now in control of the aircraft. It is my aircraft, and I'm just gonna tilt the nose. Just trim it slightly nose down. So we want to start getting out of the sky now. 23 miles might be a long way on the ground, but in the air it is not that far at all. So let's get this thing pretty much falling out of the sky. 2,000 RPM. And somewhat level, please. We're now at 10,500 feet, 22 miles to go. Now the upside of this, as you can see, our ground speed is now roughly 167 knots, which means we are really motoring towards our destination. What I need to do is I'm going to actually re-enable autopilot real quick. Hopefully it won't kill us. Let's enable nav and see what it wants to do. Just put a bit of throttle in again. Just maybe start leveling the plane off. I'm going to close everything down here real quick and go to a flyby view of the aircraft. And hopefully I've just taken a screenshot. And indeed I have. Just take another one in Steam. Go to another flyby view. There we go. And now reset outside view to it was locked spot. Nope, it was spot. Go back into the virtual cockpit. We can now disable autopilot once again. Get ATC back up and our GPS back up. So we're 17 nautical miles away, descending 2,307 feet per minute. So, whoa, that was a big gust. That was a headwind. Currently approaching the airport at 130 knots ground speed, roughly speaking. We're entering a left downwind for runway 24, which means we're actually approaching it from the right. No, when we approach, the airport itself will be on the left. We're landing runway 24, which I believe is the longer of the two sets of runways. Whoops. Echo Golf. Oscar Yankee. Oops. Yeah, 6,000 foot runway, so we don't actually need flaps here. Let's get back to our nav view. Let's turn the range down so we get a better idea of where we are. And if we're flying a left downwind, I'm not familiar with the area. Could you give me some directions, please, ATC? We're actually going way too low. 11 o'clock at 14 miles, so it's kind of over in this direction here. Over in this very rough direction. That was the wrong window. Let's get that up again. We need to level out. We need to trim those up now. So that we're not descending overly fast, because we're now at a good point to start a final descent. So if we just kind of go to the 11 o'clock here. We're landing what? Runway 24. Yeah, we're approaching this from entirely the wrong side. So I think I can see the airport. Not 100% sure. We're descending it altogether too quickly right now. Do not want to be descending this fast. What I'm going to do now is just go full rich on fuel, which is not going to be good for the spark plugs in this thing, but will be good for managing our descent. If we can keep to about 200 foot per minute up, that's actually good. I will land full flaps just because I don't trust this thing at the moment. Where's the airport? Should be about 11 o'clock and 11 miles. Okay, let's turn the range way down so I get a better idea. Oh, I've got to do it in this window too. Oh, it's reset itself. Okay, so we're right over... Ah, there's the airport. There's the airport. Fantastic. We're actually flying level at 2000, which is good. Now, we are going in for visual approach because there is no IFR approach for this airport. If there's bad weather, this airport closes. Apparently, there's no ILS slope to gather, which is a bit of a shame because I figured out ILS and I was hoping to be able to show it off. Where is runway 24? Let's see, let's just kind of angle ourselves so we can... Let's do Mega Pilot Vision here. Can I see the runways? I cannot. I can see the airport buildings, but not the runways themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn towards the airport to fly at it directly. And do effectively a ground loop. Which maybe isn't the best way to fly this thing, but it's going to be the way that I'm going to fly it. I really wish there was an ILS so that I know kind of... I'm a bad pilot. I'm not great with visual approaches. I do prefer running an ILS slope. So we should be now 10 or 12 o'clock and 7 miles. So let's just request direction to verify the airport. 12 o'clock and 7 miles. 11 o'clock, 8 miles. That's got to be it. That's the only airport in the area. Yeah, that's got to be the airport. Just ATC picking it up wrong, I guess. Just calibrate the altimeter. This is the bit that I hate. Landing. Because this is the bit where things can go wrong very, very quickly indeed. I'm still kind of level at 2,500, which is good. Banking slightly to the... Why did it want me to enter left downwind for runway 24? Where is runway 24? Hang on. There's runway 06, I believe. Yeah, that's runway 6. I can just see there on the left-hand side of the windshield, the windscreen. So if I start my downwind here, at about 2,500 feet, 2,300 feet, 2320-ish, that should be me good. Especially if I angle it slightly towards the airport. Because then I can start late base. And do I want to go with flaps? I'm just gonna slow down to about 80 knots indicated. We're gonna get full audio of the plane once again. We're gonna take the headphones off, which maybe you shouldn't do while flying. Actually, no, you wouldn't ever do that while flying, so let's put that back on. Let's get the yoke back up so that you guys can see my inputs. Could use the alternate yoke, but I'm actually flying at a very low RPM right now. Let's get flaps deployed. flaps will actually slow the plane down slightly. We're now at 2,000 feet exactly. Flying a bit too far. Roll to the left. We're now in visual range of the airport. I can see the runway. We'll be landing on the right hand side of it there. That is runway 24 to runway 6. And we need to start descending now at 200 to 300 feet per minute. Because otherwise we won't get on the ground. We're actually going to want to descend faster than that, but right now a few hundred feet per minute will just get us into a nice base turn, and then we can kind of get it a bit faster down onto the ground. Let's see. No, stop leveling off. Gonna take away some more RPM. Now I know people are gonna say, "Oh, you shouldn't be trying to land full reach." This is the way that I land. This is the way that I find the aircraft controllable. Okay. We're now beyond the threshold of the runway, which means it is time to start a base turn. We'll do an angled base turn here. So we're going to approach base like that to allow for further descent. Clear to land, runway 24, Cessna, India, Oscar 1. There we go. Let's get down onto the ground. That looks like it's actually up on a bit of a plateau. So we're going to be wanting to get the 500 warning because we do a GPWS on this for some reason. Also known as ground proximity warning system. Oh, there's a boat. Hello, boat. Your name is Boaty McBoatface. Hang on. Hello, boat person. There we go. Nothing says I'm flying a Cessna like opening the window at 70. We're probably actually going down a bit slowly here. Let's trim those down a bit. We're trimmed a bit too positive here. Or a bit too negative. Positive? Yeah, positive. Trimmed for a bit too much positive climb. And now we're possibly trimmed a bit negative, which actually works in our favor because we can deploy more flaps. Just trim a bit more. We are now possibly under glide slope, actually. Yeah, we're coming down a bit too quick, I think. I can now see the PAPI lights and see that we are in fact coming down just a skosh too quickly. Let's a bit more power into the engine. We can manage our descent like that. PAPI lights look good. We still have a full final turn coming up. That is in fact runway 24. Lovely. Not too sure where the other runway's gone, but it is there somewhere. If we just kind of fly. PAPIs are indicating perfect glide slope right now. We're actually going to be going up. Oh, we're below. We want the PAPI lights to be indicating we're above glide slope, which is 4 white. Or 2 white. I can't quite make out how many lights there are. I'm guessing it's a 4 light PAPI. Too low, too low, too low. Extra engine power, please. And we'll actually just ascend a small bit as we are turning onto a short final. Turning a bit early onto a short final at that. So we'll just fly level through this turn. And you can see that I keep checking the instruments to make sure that we are in fact flying at a reasonable rate. Now we want to start descending slightly. Once you get a warning of 500, I'm going to deploy full flaps and start
500. 500.
Okay, full flaps. And start running the throttle back a bit more.
500.
There's 500 again because we actually ascended a bit. You're now mostly, I would argue, mostly lined up with the runway. So let's start a proper final approach here. About 500 foot per minute. And we're gonna, once we hear about 20, which is gonna be a call very shortly indeed. We're minimum, and I'm going to continue the approach. We will land this time. Minimums means that is your decision altitude. You want to decide, are you landing or are you going around? I am landing. So we're going to do 100 call in a moment. Any moment now we should get 100 being called out by GP.
100.
There we go. Next call is 50. And at 20 we're going to just pull the throttle.
50. 40.
30.
30. 20.
Pull throttle.
10.
10. Level off and just kind of float her down. That was a smooth landing apparently. I wouldn't have called that smooth. Turn next taxiway. India Oscar 1. Okay, so let's now trim this thing out for airport operations. There's the taxiway. So we can turn onto this taxiway right here. And let's see. Anything else I need to do? No. So we're going to request taxi to parking. I don't know why why this guy decided to say the frequency. It's the same frequency. Going to this frequency. Cessna Echo India. Yes. I should not have called this EIWF-EGOY. General parking vet taxiway. Cessna India Oscar 1. Let's get a few extra revs in there. We're going to be taxiing it at rather leisurely 10 or 11 knots. Now, I will have to take a couple of screenshots after this, showing you guys the air hauler windows, because they don't show up, or they won't show up in OBS for me. I could probably get them to, but it would be a hassle, and I haven't kind of arranged that too much yet. And I will be doing a return flight later today, off camera, just as a chill flight. I've been playing this quite a bit. This is going to be about £3,000 is the currency I'm using, worth of narcotics being moved. Or 100 pounds in weight. I don't quite know why the progressive taxi indicator is off over there. I'm using progressive taxi, by the way, because this airport doesn't really have taxiways as such. It's got one taxiway and deal with it. Oh, there's runway 30. So they must intersect right up there. Oh, there they are. Yep, there's the intersection of the runways right up at the top. Nobody's using 30 at the moment because the wind doesn't suit. Get back into the taxiway here. We're going to be turning off to the right here in a moment. There we go. A nice leisurely. Oh, good lord, we're pulling up. Ooh. Don't really want to park there because that's going to require possibly a pushback. I guess I don't have a choice. This is the parking slot we were assigned. I'm not particularly happy with it, mind you. So I'm going to pull up. I'm actually going to pull up short in this parking spot. Also, this is proof that you can just crawl a Cessna. How's that for parking? Locked spot. We can go a bit closer. There we go, park perfectly. Now we gotta do our shutdown. So, first things first, avionics off. Off, not on. Pitot heat off. All of the lights can go off. Fuel can go to that. Over there. Battery master switch can now go off. And so can the plane. So here's the bit where I start taking screenshots because you guys can't see this. Because I'm going into air hauler now. We've had a successful flight and we're going to offload our narcotics. I'm using Giazzo for this because it's easier. This is going to take a bit longer than I'd like. Going to offload our narcotics. There's the little job completed screen up. And we've actually just leveled up. So we are now located in Stranraer in Scotland. If you guys want to have a look at the actual track we took, can I get this to be even bigger so I can zoom in? Yes, I can. That's the best I can really get. Stop centering it on the aircraft. So that is going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the flight from Waterford up to West Freugh in Scotland. I'll be back next week with more air hauler. This is why I keep this as a weekly series, by the way, because it is quite a long thing to do. I didn't cut anything out, and it did take over an hour in real time to do this. So, yeah. Until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.